please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job. Okay. Approval of the minutes of October 16th, 2023.
I'll make motion to approve.
Commissioner Robbins,
Second.
second Commissioner Hatch. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have nothing under air awards or proclamations. Public hearing. We'll open the hearing on the approved subdivision, the tips. So is there anybody here to speak to that one way, positive, or please come to the podium, identify yourself if you wish, and let us know your concerns.
Oh, I guess I'm just one of the ones putting it up there.
Oh, so
I don't know
you
if I
you
need
don't
to
have
say
any
it.
concerns? You don't
No.
want it not to be approved or anything like
No, we
that?
do want it approved.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anybody here? If not, I'll close the hearing. And now we'll move on to the recommendation was to approve it. And so what are the wishes of the commission?
Make a motion to approve.
Commissioner Hatch,
Second.
second by Commissioner Robbins. Discussion. You guys all have it on your
Yeah,
computer,
what's this
right?
gonna be for?
It's that subdivision out by the golf course. It's right.
Yeah, to the
Mike,
east
do
of
you
the
have,
golf
want
course.
to give us a little briefing on it for those that aren't?
Included in your packet is a map for the subdivision. The map shows the location, but the location is east of County Highway 1 to the east of the golf course. So it's right behind some of the houses that are immediately adjacent to County 1. This area's been looked at for a subdivision for some time. And now there's new owners and was laid out as a subdivision. It went through the planning commission, and planning commission's recommendation is approval of the plat. It's one of those subdivisions that's within our 2-mile jurisdiction. That's why it came to the city planning commission, but it's outside our roadway jurisdiction. So the property owners have to work with the Creel Township in order to take over the roadway and make sure that the roadways within the subdivision meet the requirements that Creel Township has for the roadways, so that the Creel Township will take them over for maintenance. And Creel Township board has been made aware of the plat, and they have all the documentation.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions, concerns? If not, any more discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Pass, guys. Okay, we have bid openings. We don't have anything tonight. We have visitors and delegation, and tonight we have the Devils Lake Public Schools Superintendent Ned Cluton here. If you please come forward, and welcome to our commission meeting, Ned.
Well, thank you. I have a few brochures here. I didn't make enough copies, I guess. I have a few here to pass out, and some of those.
For the record, will you say your name and stuff? Just for
Yes.
fun?
Ned Cluton is my name, Devils Lake Public Schools Superintendent. And we are looking at the potential of building an ag building for an agricultural education program at Devils Lake High School as an addition to our career and technical education building. And there's a couple of handouts there talking about the scope of the project and the program itself and some of the offerings that we would plan there. I've only been in town for about 3 months, but when I came to town, I was told that we have a $1.2 million matching grant from the state of North Dakota. And we need to come up with $1.2 million of local funds in order to match that grant, in order to receive the dollars. So that's kind of been on the front burner. We have had those dollars on the table since 2021. And it's been something that has been a priority of mine because the dollars are about to be taken away. So I've made it a priority so that we don't lose those dollars. I was surprised to hear that Devils Lake High School did not have an agricultural education program. because our number one industry in the area is agriculture. But I do think that it's a big hole for our kids, not just because agriculture is a big industry in the area, but because of the leadership opportunity that I think is missing there for our kids. FFA is a great organization, provides a ton of leadership opportunities, but I just think that exposing kids to the industry, and we talk about our farming kids that could go into those education opportunities, but then some kids are looking for pathways and careers that aren't exposed to that in their lives, that don't grow up on farms, that could go into that as education opportunities, and we're not exposing them to that. Not to mention, we have our college that has started a precision ag program right across the street from us, and we could be funneling kids into that program as well. So I think the benefits of this are innumerable, and we're looking for financial assistance. So it's something that I'm hoping that the city could potentially support financially. I've spoken to numerous businesses in town as well as the county. So I just continue to go across the town looking for some financial assistance. But I would field any questions that you guys have. Both the brochure and the handout go into a lot of details as far as what we're looking for and what we're looking to do.
This would entail you needing another instructor if it was all put together as well, or multiple instructors maybe?
It would be one instructor, and we are hearing that there's about 13 instructors that are ready to graduate next spring. I know that there was a hole in that last year. There were 0 instructors graduating in the state of North Dakota, but we are optimistic that there would be instructors available coming out next year when we would be looking for somebody for that vacancy. So
And that's something they'd be willing to take on the school in their budget?
absolutely, yeah,
The salary?
that's something that the school has committed towards.
Spencer?
And Mayor Mo, members of the commission, and just in talking with Mr. Cluten and the mayor in advance of this commission meeting, if the city commission saw a desire to get to yes on something like this, right? Some of the things that we laid out as kind of a priority and a path forward. Right now, currently, we have $350,000 in our public buildings reserve fund. Next year, we're planning to transfer about $230,000 into that fund, right? And if the commission wanted to get to yes, just looking at our books, right? I would recommend that we would just lower the amount that we transfer into our reserve fund. Basically, take money that we were going to put into our reserves, and we could allocate towards this project, conditional on a couple things. And talking with the mayor, Mr. Cluten, and a few others, would be number one, to see a private sector investment of at least $500,000 raised from other entities. And plus, there's a desire to really to partner with the county on something like this, as ag education and what that does for the ag community as well would benefit the county as well as those private sector entities that are expected to benefit probably the most from all of this. And so if those thresholds wouldn't be able to meet, we wouldn't recommend that the city become a part of this. That's ultimately for the commission to decide. And right now the number is, in my head, is 100,000, right? So if they can raise 500 privately, that the city would chip in 100. So if they can get 500, they can get 600. And that, like I said, that would come from lowering the amount that we would transfer into our reserve fund in 2024. So if the commission is looking to get to yes on this, that's kind of where I see this from the city standpoint, and would definitely appreciate hearing you guys' thoughts on the matter, on how you see a path forward if there's a desire to do so.
I truly believe the county has a big stake in this, being the agriculture area too, and being the county who represents the farming industry. So I think that we'd have to be kind of a partnership with the county probably not, they should be the bigger awardee, if you might say. But I think if we could all work together and it all come together like that, that would be a great idea.
And I guess maybe if it's, all right, with Mr. Cluten, maybe not a firm decision would need to be made tonight. You know, we have,
Yep.
future meetings throughout the end of 2024. And maybe this could be a first introduction, for this, and we can put it up again if you guys would like more time to think about it. But as far as a path forward, that would be the recommendation to the commission.
Have you got any firm commitments at this
I
point?
don't have anything firm right now.
Okay.
I've got a lot of things out there I presented to the implement dealers. And I've got some follow-up calls that, you know, we've been playing some phone tag on right now. I presented to CHS last week. They have a board meeting this week. So I hope to hear from them soon. I've been working with Forward Devils Lake. He's been a great help to me.
So just knowing a little bit of what Spencer just said, would that be helpful if we were possibly committal to that, if
Oh, yeah.
contingent on other?
Yeah, I'm looking
entities.
for someone to stick their neck out first. So,
Okay.
yeah, you know, that first commitment is big. And I think that, you know, somebody putting their name in the hat first would be a great help to me. Here's what I can tell you. If we don't reach our goal, we're not going to take anybody's money. If we don't get to our 1.2 million and we don't end up building a building, we're not taking anybody's money. It's not going to be something where we say, all right, we only got to 800,000, so we're going to keep it in a pot. That's not the case here. We either reach our goal or we don't. So I don't want you to think that we're going to take your 100,000 and then we don't get to our goal. That's not the case at all.
I believe that with the interest that was put out about, you know, the people wanting that, you know, there was a lot of argument between it, but building and adding on to the high school, this would be a great beginning to that. People have been, you know, a lot of the arguments I heard was do it in phases.
Yeah.
Well, this is step one of the phase, you know,
Yeah.
and it's not gonna,
And if you do take a look at that, I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir. If you take a look at where we're looking at building, one of the benefits to that location is it would cut the distance that students are having to walk outdoors. Right now, they're having to walk outdoors to get to the tech center quite a distance. This would cut that distance in half.
I was gonna ask why there wasn't like a hallway or something added into this.
Yeah, there is. There is a walkway on the far west side entrance. Far east side. So they would be able to enter in the far east side and be able to cut down that distance that they're walking outdoors. So there is an entrance on that far east side. So they'd be able to cut it in half basically. They're having to walk all the way to the middle of our career and tech center right now.
Yeah.
So this would be able to cut that distance in half. That's one of the reasons why we moved it from the northwest corner of Career and Tech Building to the northeast corner, is for that reason specifically.
I mean, I depending on, you know, everybody else feels it, but I'd be okay with how Spencer, you know, put it
Mhm.
forward, you know. If we could say, you know, step up as the city and say that we're willing to be a part of this and
Well,
contingent upon.
it's our community. We should have an ag program considering our ag area, you know, without a doubt. So it's important that we all work together and communicate that, hey, we should all support it the best we can.
Any chance to try and keep our ag in the
Mhm.
state instead of,
Yeah, and we have an opportunity to get just matching money, which is, you don't always get that opportunity.
Has there ever been a precedence for this? Is that the city helping out with the school? I know we've helped out with park board and anything else, but as a school, has that always been considered separate? I'm just curious,
Well,
just asking.
In my past life, right, how I saw it done is, you know, in Grand Forks, they had an old hotel and they were in kind of the along Gateway, and they were going to tear down the hotel and build this new big CTE center. What the city did was they helped with the demolition as far as like roll-offs and the landfill. In-kind donations, asbestos removal. So they helped in those phases, right, with not an actual physical monetary transaction, but more of an in-kind, just not bill.
but there's
For
nothing,
services.
but there's nothing saying we can't, or does that get into a,
I We would have to look into that. I'm sure we can find a creative way to make it happen.
We don't have any necessary action for tonight, or just that we're probably all kind of verbally supportive, I guess, you know, that based on the information and others that are, hopefully you could probably say that we're, you know, very interested in helping you out
Great.
to the tune of others.
You want to make sure that we're good to go on our end. to
Absolutely.
be able to-
Yeah.
And we can bring this for an action item. We'll do our due diligence on
Yeah.
that, you know, can the city to the school district, we'll do a due diligence on that and bring it as an action item, whether you guys want to commit to that threshold at that amount to fund in that way.
Yeah, I do know that in Wapaton, the city of Wapaton donated to a program I started at my high school down there using economic development dollars. I don't know if that's different, Spencer, but that was a significant donation that they made to a program that I was starting. It was an engineering program that we started there and the city donated to it. So it was similar. It wasn't a building, it wasn't infrastructure, so. But yes, if you guys have any questions, we'll just continue to communicate, and you let me know if you want me to come back for any reason. But thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Let me know if we're going one-on-one.
Piece of candy?
No, I'm good.
Okay, we'll now move into commission portfolios, and we will start with Commissioner Hatch.
Anything from sanitation, Mike?
Nothing from sanitation. We still haven't taken possession of the new garbage truck, but it's in the works. We're doing some programming on it, so I would hope that we would have possession of that truck within the next week or two.
Great.
That's all I have to say.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Rob,
I have nothing for you tonight unless you have questions for me.
I have nothing. I'm done.
Very good. Okay. Commissioner Robbins.
Mike, streets?
Nothing for streets tonight unless you have questions for me, Commissioner.
Nope. Engineering?
The projects are wrapping up. Unfortunately, I don't believe that we're going to be placing any asphalt on the patches on Second Street. We're just working with the contractor to make sure that any maintenance activities are taken care of. If city forces are going to take care of them, then that'll be billed back to the contractor over the course of the winter months until we get asphalt placed in those patches. That's all I have for engineering unless you have specific questions.
I don't have anything. Anybody else?
No.
Just wanted to give kudos to the streets folks on that snow clearing. The amount of people and residents that have come up to me and say how impressed they were, how they got right to the curbs and everything. Amazing job. So kudos to them. And the folks here in town, they noticed the difference and they were very excited.
Great, I'll pass that on to the crew.
That's it for me.
Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Pierce.
Ben, what do you got?
Unless you got questions.
Stuff's going good with the fishing derby, fishing tournament, still good to go.
Yep.
Ticket sales going good.
Good to go.
That's all I have. for
That's all you have? Okay. The Commissioner Hamries, utilities, and streets, or utilities.
And utilities have one item to bring forward to the commission. In December of 2021, the commission had awarded a bid to Devils Lake Cars for a utility van that was going to be used by the utility department. The amount of that bid was $46,220. That bid package was for basically a utility van that met state bid requirements. We added on a couple of items in addition to the state requirements, but it was for a 2021 van. Jeremy with Devils Lake Cars is here to address any issues, but they had ordered the van, but unfortunately the van wasn't available. You know, sometimes this isn't new. It's new to us, but it isn't new. In some cases, there's some vehicles that you just can't get, especially when they're kind of a fleet type vehicle. And so over the course between December of 2021, all of 2022, and now nearing the end of 2023, that van was recently delivered to Devils Lake Cars. But that van currently is a 2023 model. So with the 2023 model, it's 2 years newer, and it has about $1,600 in options that aren't included in state bid. Unfortunately, with the 2 years newer, and the options. Right now, the cost of the van is just over $50,000, is $50,716. That's just about $4,500 more than what was originally bid. But it's a 2-year newer van, and that van, from what I can tell, basing it on state bid, with the options that are available, it's about $1,800 cheaper than what we could get that van off state bid, if we could take possession off state bid if it were available.
And this
Or we
was
could
all
be waiting for
budgeted
it.
money for previous, right? The 46 was budgeted for, right?
It was a budgeted amount.
You just
correct.
needed an amendment to the budget.
I just need to make the commission aware, and if we would just accept that, because it's a revised amount, I don't think it's anything that is abnormal in the industry that I've seen. I mean, some people have awarded bids and have waited years to take possession of the vehicle, and we don't write a clear set of specifications for post-COVID bidding environments. Sometimes things just aren't available. And so that's why it's before the commission tonight, because we're not awarding it for a 2021 van, it's a 2023 van.
Is there anything in
Recommendation
your,
through utility department is to
Jack?
be the award.
It's a real gray area regarding the increase in price. The cleanest way to do it would just be to rebid it, which is basically, you're probably gonna go through the motions and have the same outcome, but takes a little bit more time.
but it was ordered in 2021, correct?
Correct.
And was approved to order.
Right, but it's different price. So it was bid, we said what we needed with the van. They bid it, we accepted their bid, and now it's higher. So with the $6,000 price increase, legally speaking, I haven't found a situation where this has happened and been adjudicated, but the safest way to do it would be to rebid it, unless, I don't know how big of an emergency it is. But if it's an emergency that we have this van and that we need it now, if the city declares that it's an emergency, then we can go ahead and accept the bid as is.
So, my question is, when it was ordered, all these extras wasn't a part of the order, they just threw them in there when you said it was a higher price because of extra stuff that was added onto the vehicle?
Yeah, there's a few things that like the reheat air, reheat stuff. for the
Jeremy,
guys in there that we added on afterwards.
Speak to the board.
Podium. Come to the podium, Jeremy. Just
Jeremy DeVere, Devils Lake Cars.
appreciate it.
But yeah, there was a few things that we added on that was more specific to what they needed for it, I guess, that the state bid didn't have on it. That made sense for what they were gonna use the van for. That's all necessary stuff for what you're gonna use that thing for, the cold outside and whatnot. And we've been fighting the price of that van over and over with Ford, and was actually able to a couple weeks get the thing reduced to over $3,000 more. So we've been fighting with those, and they've been pretty good with us, knowing that I went back with them and told them that, the price was this back then. And so they've been able to give us some extra funds to help offset the price increase. So that's been pretty fortunate on their side, I guess, too. But if you rebid it and do it again, and this van isn't here, I don't know when you're going to see it again. That's the thing. They don't make many of them. And, I'd hate to redo it and then lose this one. And then you're waiting another couple of years to get that again. And that's probably what would happen. So it's here. The van is here, available now. And I suggest taking it, I guess.
Our recommendation, we looked at state bid, and if the dollar amount of the van was more than state bid, I would be looking at rebidding it. But in this particular case, it's less than state bid by $203, and we're getting about $1,600 in options that aren't included in the state bid. Right? So I don't see any benefit for rebidding it. If I saw that benefit, with the conversation and the process that we went through Sourcewell, the whole idea behind doing this is to try and get the best package for the city at the best value, right? And I don't see us getting a better value at this point. I think, we've had a lot of conversations related to it, and the price of the van honestly has dropped through this. I think whether it's our conversations with you, your conversations with Ford, whatever's happened there, but if it was more than state bid, I would see a benefit potentially in going through that process. I don't see a benefit at this point. So,
Oh, no, we've been waiting for it since 21, right?
honestly, you could look at it from the perspective I'm looking at it is you had a base bid plus now you have 2 years newer and you have the additional options with the heat package and these other things. So, I just don't see it. I think we can. I don't see anybody that's going to have any issues with it. Typically, we would be looking at benefit for going with a local purchase anyway. If we could buy something cheaper someplace else, we still try and buy local within reason. And so I think that's where we're at with this.
I agree. We should just get it done and move on. So can I make a motion with the brackets emergency,
Clause?
emergency purchase?
Yeah, if you guys decide that it is, in your opinion, an emergency that we have a utility van with this capability,
Well, it's for wintertime use, basically, to store all our winter equipment that goes out on our emergency calls, right?
That is correct, Mayor.
And we've been waiting for it for
2 years.
2 years.
And the price is right.
That is
So
correct, Commissioner, and that is correct, Commissioner.
I will make a motion to purchase this van at the price that we were given under a emergency clause situation, for lack of better terminology.
We have a motion by Commissioner Robbins,
I'll second that motion.
second by Commissioner Pierce. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
We need, can we get the total price one more time?
So the amount is $50,716. I'm looking at you for a nod, Jeremy, but that's the number I have written down.
Yep, that's correct.
$50,716 for a 2023 van.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hash?
Aye.
Commissioner Robbins?
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce?
Aye.
President Moe?
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, and now, anything else under Commissioner Hammers?
That's it for utility.
If not, under my portfolio, I have a letter in front of me that says our chief of police is quitting. Is resigning and retiring from the city, May 1st.
May 1st.
Well, thank you for your service to the Devils Lake, Chief. It's
Yep.
been a pleasure working with you
Yeah, it's been fun.
on both sides.
Good 6 months, so. you
Yep.
guys can-
So thanks
Good
for
luck
the
finding a
advance
replacement.
notice. And I don't know, he probably should have given us a year to find somebody
Yeah,
that can
probably,
replace you,
yeah,
right?
Give or take.
Well, thank you for what you've done for the community
Yeah.
too, so, but
Yeah, It's been a great experience.
should be pretty easy to replace you, I think.
Probably.
What size are your uniforms?
Yeah, we gotta make sure we get that, yeah. Okay. No, in all seriousness, thank you for what you've done.
Yeah, thanks.
And Memo, just so you guys know, talked to Tanya today just about, we have this runway. We're gonna start get the ball rolling in February. So
Okay.
we'll touch base with you guys come January and give you more detail of what we got planned out. But February is when we'll start.
Perfect.
Yes, and thank you for the notice.
Yeah.
That's huge.
I spoke with Mr. Spencer and he has probably the best frame, 6 months.
Mhm.
So, been waiting for a year to do that, so.
We're
another
thankful
6
he gave
months.
us a long run.
But anyway, is there anything else that
Yeah, I
you'd like
do.
to? Yeah.
So, we have a taxi cab company that's looking at starting, got some, City Hall's been talking to me, Brina and whatnot, and, there's some hurdles there that we used to have in there because we had such a taxi cab problem, that I don't think is necessary. A lot of other communities don't have it. One of it's the chemical testing for the drivers prior to getting licensed. It's one of those hurdles that really they can be clean for 30 days and take the test and be dirty for the rest of the year. So the purpose of it was just a hurdle and it's unnecessary. I know I could work with Jack in trying to remedy that and get the ordinance changed around. And so I think it's a good avenue and I want to get some guidance from you folks to see if that's an approach that we could take.
Well, we've had a need for a taxi service in our community a
Yeah.
long time, so if we can get one up and running without too many problems, but of course, safety's got to be number one concern.
Right. We still address the vehicle itself for the maintenance of the vehicle, and then also for the insurance in the vehicle and the markings on the vehicle and those things. And if they want to have their own chemical test program within their own company, then so be it.
That should be under their insurance
Yep.
portfolio anyhow,
Yeah,
so
he would think something like that. So,
I'd say go for it.
all right.
Yeah, so Jack,
You just gotta call me more often. I know you
I
don't
know.
like to, but
I'll talk to you.
yeah.
Outside of that, I'm good.
Okay.
We got a liquor license
Violation.
violation that will probably still under investigation. We'll bring it up at another meeting.
Is it?
Good
Any
enough.
questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Spencer?
Just two quick things. Future meeting here by the end of the year, we're gonna present you an equipment and technology replacement plan. We've got the ball rolling on that with the department heads and supervisors. They're working on their plans. We're gonna go over it together, try to determine how much money we need to putting away each year. And we'll start in 2024. We have the equipment we're gonna get in 2024 all lined up. And so we'll have that plan before you to start the year off, so we can get 5 to 7 year window outlook. One other thing I wanted to give you guys an update on is future conversations that I'd like to have to reform and improve our administration and organizational processes as it refers to the Jobs Development Authority for Devils Lake in the city. I talked with Brad on and off over the last couple of weeks, and to give you guys a good background, currently we contract with Forward Devils Lake to serve as the community's Jobs Development Authority. The city commission approves and allocates funds in the growth fund, of which then the Jobs Development Authority and Forward Devils Lake administers. It's become inconsistent and cumbersome from the city standpoint and Forward's as to which organizations' name should be on checks that are written for PACE loans and the 2020 program, as well as the names that are on legal documents and so forth. And so what we're going to propose in the effort to kind of clear all this up and make easy and as simple as possible is for the city commission to, by resolution and per North Dakota Century Code, create a Jobs Development Authority. In doing so, they would appoint a board of directors, of which the city commission could appoint themselves and would be recommended as the Jobs Development Authority. And thereafter, you're able to appoint an executive committee, of which we would probably recommend appointing the Forward Devils Lake Board as that executive committee. And you can give that executive committee as much authority as what the Jobs Development Authority, or in this case, the City Commission, deems appropriate. And we'll have a list of recommendations that will be, similar, but clarify some of the boundaries a little better than I think that they are now. I think they're a little blurry, and I'd like to clarify those up. Doing this, we'll maintain similar process, but we'll be able to create a separate bank account titled Devils Lake Jobs Development Authority. Agreements entered into and documents signed will be in the name of the Jobs Development Authority. Again, it'll be cleaner and legally obvious with clear boundaries as to who's responsible for what. And I just bring this up because before considering a resolution, we need to advertise in the paper that we're going to do so 30 days in advance of doing so. And we really want to have this in place, or at least give the commission the opportunity to consider putting it in place before January 1 of 2024, so we can be start clean on a fiscal year. And so would look for you guys to consider a resolution on the December 18th. And we'll have an in-depth briefing and discussion in the 2 future meetings before that, so that we can go through in detail the proposed changes, effects, recommendations, and have that policy discussion with you guys as the commissioners to take place. So wanted to tee up that discussion here tonight for you guys. And we'll have those in-depth discussions in the next couple of meetings.
Okay, thank you.
That's all I got.
Is that everything, Spencer? Is that everything?
That's for me.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Jack?
Nothing.
Awesome. Okay.
That's cool.
Nothing in the legal side is good.
Moving forward with the whole LEC deal, we've progressed a little bit, but not,
Okay.
some of anything finalized yet.
We have a meeting Wednesday, the LEC, so hopefully get more information from them.
Is that this one's already?
Yes.
Oh, jeez. Seems like it just got done. All right.
Oh, no, wait, that's not, that's a different one.
Oh, I was gonna say,
We had so
wow.
many meetings. No, that's
Yeah.
something different.
Okay.
Sorry.
No problem. Okay, well, I have one thing just to kind of give everybody a little up to speed a little bit. Dealing with the hospital situation and things like that's been going on for quite some time. We are looking at hosting a couple town hall meetings to kind of give the opportunity of the public a chance to bring their concerns to us. And we're looking at next Wednesday, the 15th, at 2:00 in the afternoon for one town hall. And then Thursday night, November 16th at 6:30. And the intent behind it is to update the residents on our efforts to try what we're trying to do with the medical facility and why, answer questions that they may have in regards to it. Not to get into an argument one way or the other, but we want to allow them to give their concerns to us, accept their concerns, and explain to them what we're trying to accomplish. So those are, I think, important meetings that may lead up to a follow-up meeting with Senator Hoeven, who plans to be here. And this is a tentative date with nothing cast in stone. It changes about as much as you change your clothes every day. But we're looking at the 20th still, I think, or has that changed?
Yeah, I spoke with them, and a lot of it is contingent on the funding of the government and if we're in a shutdown or not.
Okay.
And so,
But
We're
anyway,
running
that was
side of
kind of talked about the 20th, but stay tuned for that date. But anyway, that date is where all parties are supposed to be present again, including CHI, Essentia, Sanford even, and Altru. And anyway, whoever has a stake
I
in
would,
this.
I would stress that's hopeful and tentative and not locked down. I can't reinforce that more.
Right,
Yeah.
but anyway, we'll once we know.
And those town halls will be where?
They'll be at the fire hall, fire station. So, in a neutral ground. So anyway, those are what we're intending, and I'd sure appreciate if you guys could make them to be present so that it looks like that we're standing behind this.
I'll be in Arizona.
Okay, you can be in Arizona. So, any questions regarding any of that? But, this is something that the entire community needs to be aware of what we're trying to do. It's not just between a handful of people. And, we have a strong task force that's been working on this. And they've identified a lot of things and brought to attention of the needs of what we're looking for. But maybe there's something out there we haven't looked at yet. So hopefully we can. And it will look good if we, we give everybody a chance to speak. So if there's no other questions, that's what I have on that. Okay, so we'll move on. And the next item on the agenda is old business, and that is, we're going to talk about the agreement to install and maintain a columbarium in the Devil's Lake Cemetery. And I see Stephanie's present to come forward, and then we'll let Spencer speak upon it. But Stephanie, have you got anything to say about it?
My only question is, Mike, are we close to the same spot? I didn't get a map.
Yes, and I apologize, the map was in the packet, and there were a couple of last minute changes to the agreement. And when the revised agreement, we were interchanging the term lease. It is a lease, so we're talking about Gilberton Loger Funeral Home leasing a small piece of property out at the
I didn't see
cemetery.
the map. The map's not in
Yeah,
here.
the map was in there, and the map is
Oh.
not currently because the agreement was changed. But yes, it's in the same place that you had your stakes.
Stakes, okay.
Just located just to the west of our maintenance building out there. And the legal description did not change.
Okay.
So the legal description's there. It's the same location. That map is available, and I can get, but it's on the south side of the entrance road, just to the west of our main building at the.
I like the
cemetery.
location. Yeah, it's nice.
Like I said, when we visited with Mike and Spencer, it was only contingent upon where the water lines were and such, because we didn't want to be building this, 50,000-pound structure over the top of a water line. So he just said it might have to be moved. But I'm fine with what's written up here. And so I don't know if you have any questions of me or.
Based on all the information we have, there are no water lines or sewer lines in that location, subject to change.
Yeah.
Right? We'll know when we start
you dig.
ripping some soil. But right now, to the best of our knowledge, there is no utilities within that area.
Okay, Spencer, you had something to add?
Maybe we can have Mike just run down. We met with Gilbertson's Funeral Home on a couple of occasions just to make sure that we were aligned as far as how we're doing snow removal, how we're doing lawn care, how long the lease goes for, funding as far as what the city would receive as part of this, and eventual assumption of that columbarium by the city under certain circumstances. If Mike, you want to run down at least the public works side on the snow removal and the lawn care, and take it as far as you want, and then I'll fill the gaps in.
Okay. Basically, included within your packet is the agreement that's been outlined with Gilbertson Funeral Home. Basically, it's very detailed because what we're identifying is the current improvements that are being proposed. The current improvements that are being proposed are a 3 columbarium unit, right? So these columbariums are basically a wall, right? There's 3 different sections, 3 different wall units that will be placed out at the cemetery, along with some surfacing improvements. And with that, as outlined in the agreement, there's 168 niches as part of these columns. And they're manufactured by a manufacturer that's in the business of doing this. So they're manufactured with durable materials. As outlined in the agreement, Stephanie, the Gilbertson Funeral Home is going to provide us all the materials that are going into the construction of the columbarium improvements. The improvements not only include those walls that hold the urns, but all of the surfacing improvements around it. From a public works perspective, Public Works is still going to mow the grass around the area, but we're not moving the snow immediately on top of those improvements. That's going to be completed by the funeral home. The funeral home is going to own, operate, and maintain all of their improvements, including vandalism. If something's vandalized, they're going to take care of it. If snow needs to be moved, they take care of it. If there's some maintenance over the course of the 40-year term of the lease that's outlined within the agreement, they take care of it. As far as making the sale of the individual niches, they will take care of that. All of the records they'll take care of. They'll supply the city with a copy of all those records. So the city will know who's located in what location on which columbarium. So that's all identified within the agreement. It's also identified that if, for some reason, Gilbertson Funeral Home no longer wants to, transfer that, Gilbertson Funeral Home is sold, somebody doesn't want to assume that columbarium improvements, the columbarium and all the improvements become property of the city, and then the city would sell all of the unsold, or has the potential to sell all the unsold units within the columbarium. So it's kind of outlined. As far as perpetual care, at the end of the 40 years, the way we have it identified is that the funeral home's responsible for all of the maintenance within the term of the lease. But if that term of the lease ends at the end of 40 years, it's not renewed, then any unsold niches become the property of the city, so we can sell them. And then in that time, there's still some lease payment that has to be made. And that lease payment is outlined in the agreement is 5% of the cost of their sale. So when they sell a unit in their niche, then 5% of that total cost, the engraving, the opening, closing, the sale of the niche, all of that becomes payment to the city. And that is payment of the lease over the course of that term of the agreement.
I have one question that I was asked to bring up. Is the markers for veterans or like firefighters, those markers, is there a place on the door for that to be?
That's why we're going to have all of ours as bronze, because that's what the veterans supply are, the bronze
Yeah.
beach covers. So we're going to just have every one of them be a bronze
Okay,
instead of some engraved and
but
some.
they can put that marker on there somehow. Okay.
Mhm.
Basically,
They're starting to put them on the headstones now, aren't they?
Some are, but even the one now, the niche plate will have, US, Army or whatever, and would have your rank too.
Okay.
Where
You wouldn't get the
just the
footstone
veteran
anymore.
ones that go on the headstones, they just have that you're a US veteran.
Okay. Perfect. That's
The
covered.
overall size, we're looking at about a 55-foot by 50-foot area.
Area.
So it's
Mhm.
not a very large footprint. Excuse me, that we're talking about with these improvements. And we want to make sure that all the improvements everything that's put in there, we have a copy of, we call them shop drawings, right?
Yeah.
So we know what color of stone was used, what brick was used, where all the materials came from. So we have the specifics because let's face it, forever is a long time. And I would expect that those columbarium units are going to be there 100 years from now. And at some time they are going to require some maintenance and some improvements. Some of the materials may not be available, but that's why we identified within the agreement that the manufacturer of these things is somebody who's done this for some period of time, knows what they're doing, and is in the commercial business of constructing columbariums.
Thank you for investing in our community.
And
You're welcome. We're excited to be back in the cemetery.
When would you think construction on this could be started?
As soon as we vote on it.
I mean, yeah.
Well, they were ordered. That was the whole thing. We had ordered them because we had planned that we were going to put them out at the Gilbertson Funeral Home. Well, then when the city said they really would like to work with us, so we kind of had to revise our plan because they had already been ordered. But they'll be pouring footings and everything as soon as they can in the spring. So, and they're pre-constructed, so they will be set on the site when it's prepared. So they are being built as we speak.
Just please make sure that the paperwork comes to the city so we can have.
Yes.
So recommend of approval, is that what we're getting?
I recommend approval of maintenance of the agreement between the city and Gilbertson's Funeral Home as stated here.
Commissioner Pierce, motion,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Hatch. Any further discussion?
Just have to make sure that the map is attached to the agreement that is signed, that you sign, and as well as the mayor.
Not? All in favor, or do we want a roll call? Not
You'd like.
necessary. Roll call? Okay, let's do roll.
Commissioner Hash.
Aye.
Commissioner Robbins.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
President Mo.
Aye. Motion carries. Congratulations. All right. Next item, under the consent agenda, nothing. Okay, new business. We have an ICS deposit placement agreement with Bremer Bank. Spencer?
Mayor Mo, members of the commission, this agreement for you is to set up an IntraFi cash service, that's what ICS stands for, account with Bremer Bank. Just it's a different adjustment to our current account structure that will place our required fully FDIC insured deposit or fully pledged deposit under the umbrella of the bank's FDIC insurance. This is permitted by federal law, it's permissible under state law, and we'll get a full 0.5 percentage point increase on interest rate on our bank. By doing this, it's going to require an increase in our manual daily maintenance of the account, but after discussing internally, we've come up with a plan operationally to take as much advantage of the opportunity as is reasonable. So other North Dakota municipalities are transitioning to this similar account structure. I think they're going to the county tomorrow, to be frank with you. Kate wishes she could be here. He had personal conflicts that wasn't able to be here, but would recommend approval. It's going to take us a full 0.5 percentage point, and on the size of the deposit we have, it's real money. So,
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Hatch.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Hash.
Aye.
Commissioner Robbins.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
President Mo.
Aye. Motion carried. Item number 2, authorized call for bids for sidewalk snow removal.
Every year, the city calls for bids for a contractor to clean snow from sidewalks when city residents or businesses don't move their own snow, and we receive a complaint. We recommend authorization to call for bids.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the call for bids for snow removal.
Commissioner Pierce,
Second.
second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Creates, item number 3, create street improvement district 79-24.
The street improvement includes the area in the Stromquist, 17th Street, 8th Avenue, 16th Street, 10th Avenue. Some of the roadways that we're looking at improving next year. We need to create a special assessment district to help fund the improvements. Recommend approval. And then a report will be brought to you with outlining the general nature of the project and cost estimates, things like that. It's part of the process for creating the street improvement and the special assessment district.
Make a motion to approve the creating of the resolution for street improvements for district number 79-24.
Commissioner Pierce,
Second.
second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 4, approval of purchase of the Davis Flats property. Mike.
Included with your packet is a memo as well as some maps. There's a few different steps that we have to take with this agenda item. So I'll draw the commission's attention to the second page on that agenda. It shows the map. That map outlines the location of the property that we're looking at. Basically, we're buying a property that's below the meander line. It's along the north side of Highway 19. One of the benefits that this property offers to the city is that it's immediately adjacent to our wastewater treatment system, immediately adjacent to our city airport, and it's adjacent to our industrial park. And so there's a lot of city things going on in that particular location. So with that, it's over 400 acres, about 415 acres that's immediately adjacent to that. Currently, the city has an easement on a portion of that property that can be used, that we can use part of that property for wastewater treatment. But that easement that was issued to the city in a judgment back in 1991 is very specific to wastewater treatment. We can't do other things. If there were airports, and with the airport there was a bird hazard, we don't have a right to go out there and scare the birds away and put noisemakers and things like that. We don't have a right to make a bunch of improvements. And so with that, you have the map, you have the location. The first thing that we have to do is approve, as we go through this process, we have to approve the outlot plat. The outlot plat includes property that the city currently owns. And with that, we have to sign off into the outlot plat. Basically, we want to put a map together that says this entire parcel, which includes this little piece the city currently owns, we're going to approve that. This is our outlot. This is what we own. So over at the county, they'll have one parcel number for this piece that we're acquiring. As part of the acquisition, then also part of this area, it's a low ground, and it's included in the 100-year floodplain associated with our flood protection system. And so in coordinating with the Corps, they've authorized 75% of the cost to be LERD credit. They call it land easements, real estate right-of-way disposal areas. So we get credit for 75% of the cost for the purchase of the property because it has to be acquired for floodplain easement. So with that, going through the process, I would recommend that we first, the commission approves signing the outlot plat because we own property. So that would be one step. Once we have that step taken, then we'll discuss the purchase agreement and the other sections of the agreement.
So all we need is approval to sign. Okay.
Approve signing the attached outlot 44-0052 outlot plat.
Is that on the agenda?
Yeah, it looks
Okay.
way down here.
It's in the memo.
Okay.
That big
Purchase.
map, it's like 6
Davis
pages.
Flats property. And then if you keep scrolling down,
Purchase agreement. Oh, that's it.
It's the first thing after the main map. It's on page 50.
if you keep going down, you'll see the plot.
50,
plat.
50?
Yeah, 50, 51, 52, 53.
Yeah, okay.
54. 55.
One
Yeah.
more. Well, no, you were right. This is the outlaw of the stuff that we owe.
Okay, so, okay, just, if you want a motion made to approve the
Sign.
outplot map.
Yeah, give the mayor authority to sign the outlaw plat, correct?
Okay, I'll make a motion to give the mayor the authority to sign the outlot plot map.
Okay, Commissioner Robbins,
One second.
Commissioner Pierce. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor of this motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. More to become, huh?
Yeah, so the next thing is, if you scroll through the agreement, is the purchase agreement for the property. That purchase agreement really outlines the number of acres. There's 415.80 acres that we're looking at purchasing in that outlot plat. And we're looking at a payment of $300 per acre. So $300 an acre times the 415.80 acres is a total dollar amount of $124,740. That's what we're buying for the property.
And 75% of that will be paid by the state.
We pay it, but we're given credit for 75% of it for our flood protection project.
Okay,
We're credited for that 75% of it. So in essence, they're cost sharing 75%. It's just how we look at it and where the money comes from. They're not giving us 75% of the money. We pay it, but we're credited 75% towards our local match of our flood protection project.
don't get many of those opportunities.
I'll make a motion,
Do we need a motion?
Yes.
Okay,
So to approve the purchase agreement.
Okay, and then are you gonna go through or explain the real property
Correct.
agreement? Okay.
Yeah, one step at a time is what I'm trying to.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were gonna do all three together or.
No.
Cause I imagine, probably Dale will have some questions.
I make,
No offense, Dale, you always are the one with the questions.
They're good questions,
That's
aren't
right.
they? That's right, yeah,
There's no
exactly.
bad questions in my opinion.
okay.
I make a motion to agree to the purchase agreement as outlined in front of us here.
Okay, Commissioner Pierce. Second is, second by Commissioner Robbins. Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Hash,
Aye.
Commissioner Robbins,
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce,
Aye.
President Mo.
Aye, motion carried.
This property is fairly unique in that it lies below what we call the meander line, right? So at one time when the surveyors were originally here in the late 1800s, they meandered around Devil's Lake. And when they meandered around Devil's Lake, they created a survey line and they said, we're going to give title to property above this line. Below that line, it looks like it's part of the lake, so we're not going to give title to it. So we're going to go around this meander line. And so with that, people that own property above the meander line have a certain right, they call it a riparian right, to land that's below the meander line. In this particular case, to clear things up the best that we can and make sure that we receive a good title, the property owners that are selling us the 415 acres, the Davis family, they also own significant property adjacent to the property below the meander line, the property that we're purchasing. And so in order to decrease the potential for any future problems that the property future ownership issues, we're going to record against all of their other property in agreements. And as outlined in your packet, it's an agreement concerning real property. The agreement concerning real property is basically saying all of these other parcels that you own that are above the meander line are conveying any riparian right that they would have as part of this transaction. So at some future time, if they sell any of these other parcels, somebody can't come and say they have some riparian right to this land because they were put on notice that there was a document recorded against each individual parcel talking about conveying the riparian right. And so that's outlined in this agreement concerning real property. And I would recommend that the City Commission approve the agreement concerning real property. We would sign as part of that. That's outlined in our purchase agreement. And again, really that agreement is nothing more than something to safeguard us and our purchase. In the past, in the 50s, when the city acquired the property for the current lagoon wastewater treatment system, that was below the meander line. They acquired the property and they didn't secure additional interest that we are here. But now time has gone by. We've learned a little bit more. The city attorney's reviewed it. And to best safeguard us, it makes sense to record this against their other property. So recommend,
And that's at
Approval of
$1.
the-
That's costing us $1? Is that,
and other good and valuable consideration.
okay.
So my question was going to be, do we have an attorney capable of drawing this up?
It's already drawn up.
I'm just checking.
It wasn't me that drew it up either.
All right, that's my only question.
No, it looks good.
I make a motion for approval of the agreement concerning real property as outlined. As written.
Commissioner Pierce,
Second.
Commissioner Robbins. Okay, let's do roll call. Money involved.
Commissioner Hash.
Aye.
Commissioner Robbins.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
President Mo.
Aye, motion carried.
So with the agreement of the outlaw, or with approval of the outlaw plat, with approval of the purchase agreement, and with approval of the agreement related to real property, everything has been put together for a package for the city to acquire the property. The last thing would be conveyance of the quitclaim deed. And I would just ask that the commission approve everything contingent upon the city attorney's review, final review of that property. Jack, I don't know that it's going to take a long time for you to review title and make sure that there isn't anything over at the courthouse that would, be something where we couldn't acquire the property if there was some transaction, some lien against the property or something like that. But once the city attorney is comfortable with it, then we could complete the payment for the property. The quitclaim deed then could be recorded and the city would be the owners. Jack, do you have
Yeah, I
anything
can,
to add?
no, that'll be quick, because it's it's property that's never been platted before. So should be able to do it by next meeting.
You just specify the recommended motion just for the minutes, Sabrina's got it.
Give the city attorney the authority, once he is comfortable with the quitclaim deed and the transaction, that we have clear title with the quitclaim deed, then the purchase agreement could be executed and the transaction completed.
So
Give the owner the money and he turns over the quitclaim deed and that's recorded. The quitclaim deed's been signed and it's in their attorney's hands. It's just the closing. You have to be comfortable with the closing.
So motion to approve and execute everything after I give my final.
Which one got it?
contingent upon city attorney review.
Yep.
I make a motion.
Go ahead.
Okay, Commissioner Pierce,
I make a motion in,
So the motion
for you to
is
do everything,
to approve
approve,
and execute
execute
these three
these three
documents
documents
after my
Done.
final review and approval.
after your final review and approval.
I do.
I do?
I'll second that motion.
Commissioner Robbins again, okay. All right, and since there's money involved, is there any further discussion? No further discussion, let's do a roll call again.
Commissioner Hash.
Aye.
Commissioner Robbins.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
President Mo.
Aye, motion carried.
So for clarity, the commission, you've reviewed all of the documents, they can be signed. The only thing remaining then is the city attorney completing his review and he can schedule a closing with their attorney. So the transaction is completed.
Just as I said.
We're clear as mud on that, huh? Okay,
Good to go, Mike.
okay. That's everything, all right. Under citizen comment, nothing tonight? No informational items? We'll need a motion to approve the payment of list of bills as submitted.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Commissioner Robbins,
I'll second.
Commissioner Hack. Any further discussion? Okay, no discussion, roll call.
Commissioner Hash.
Aye.
Commissioner Robbins.
Aye.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
President Mo.
Aye. No other business come before the commission, meeting adjourned.
A retiring police chief wants